What's going on YouTube? Chris with CBModelworks. Got something a little different for you today. Normally, as you know, do mostly cars on this channel. But if you've watched the channel, you know I love me some Star Wars, so gonna build some droids here. Now usually you don't have to paint these Bandai kits, but the metal looking parts didn't look very metal to me. It was kind of a dark gray plastic, so going over it with some Mr. Hobby Superfine Silver just to give it more of a metallic look. So jumping into building C-3PO, you have two options on the arms. One with articulation, where the pistons that move his arms are kind of a plasticky color. And then you have an option where his arms are fixed, but the pistons are a nice gold color like they're supposed to be. So I'm going to go with the fixed arms because I'm not really going to be reposing these guys once they're on the shelf. Again, that's how simple these Bandai kits are. They go right together, no problem. Fitment is excellent, just as always from Bandai. It's one of the things I love about these kits. So here's a little painting for him. These are the little piston rods that are in his abdomen. They are like a gold plastic color. They're not plated. They're supposed to be more of a metallic, so just putting a little titanium gold on there just to give them a metallic look. And same thing with R2 here on these little hoses. They're supposed to be kind of a more metallic. I think they're supposed to be more of a copper look, but it's close enough for me. And now his eyes. I don't have any clear yellow, so I'm using clear orange, and I'm just barely going around the edges. And in true modeler's fashion, jumping around to another model. Got a little Vallejo silver going on the antenna here. BB-8 didn't need much painting. The metallic parts on him were pretty close to the right color anyway. Then we got C-3PO's abdomen. They did give you a decal for this, but I didn't want to lay a decal over it. I decided to paint these instead. I thought it would look better. All the wires he's got going down. They're raised pretty good, so it wasn't that difficult to get the brush on them. And it definitely, in my opinion, would look a lot better than using a decal or a sticker. And they also have some red wires and then the gold pistons that go over it, which you'll see here in just a second. And there we go. That's what it looks like with all three colors on there. Definitely have a little bit more depth that way. And rinse and repeat for the back side. Now we can get them together. Sometimes these joints are kind of tough to get together. And I know it's probably manufacturing-wise easier to do it like that. And I guess easier to paint too, but he has very little articulation. I think he moves a total of like 2 millimeters. So for the eyes, I want them to look like, you know, they're on and yellow. So I'm going to try my bare metal foil trick that I use on the tail lights to make them brighter and see how this works. So we're getting the first eyeball in there, I guess you would call it. And fell out. And then we're going to try and put it in again. Oh, you mother son of a... Yes, I just dropped that little 2 to 3 millimeter piece of clear plastic on the garage floor and have no idea where it went. Looked for it for about 20 minutes, couldn't find it. Luckily, the kit comes with a third one. Sorry about my head getting in the way there. So if you remember in Return of the Jedi, the little rat-looking dude kind of pulls his eye out. So they have a version that you can do for that. So it has a third eye, just is a little too long and had to be trimmed down. So I got very lucky there. So this kit is not cheap, and having to buy a whole nother kit just to get that would have hurt. But As you can see, it all worked out in the end. Now we pop a couple pieces together, throw his hands on there, and these guys are pretty much done except for weathering. Feels nice to finally finish something. So for the weathering, just using, to me, a panel liner. The BB-8 and R2 had a lot of panel lines to do. I've got this on 5 times speed. There was just so many. Some of them I had to redo because I went to clean it off a little too early and it pulled it all out. But so just went over every panel line I could see on his head, on his body. Did all over little screw holes, and I didn't mind if it got a little messy because R2 and BB-8 and really C-3PO as well, they're never really clean. They always look pretty dirty, especially BB-8. I mean, he's rolling around in who knows what. So I got little odorless mineral spirits on one end of the Q-tip, the other end nothing. This here C-3PO, he is so shiny that it's hard for this stuff to show up. It's there and I can see the difference in person, but it is really hard to notice anything on him. No matter what, the gold just kind of shines through. R2 is a little easier, just has a lot more nooks and crannies. And then, of course, you spill a bunch on there. But that's okay, because, he's going to be dirty anyway. This is just normal black Tamiya panel liner. So pretty much the plan was use the mineral spirits on one end of the Q-tip. The other end had nothing. But once it got some of the wet panel liner on it, I was able to just kind of spread it around and just make them look dirty a little bit. Again, this is on 5 times speed. It took a lot longer than I thought it would. Make sure you get all the panel lines and then give it time to dry a bit. And now we see a little bit of speed cleaning here. So it looks shiny now, but it doesn't dry quite as shiny. It's just wet from the mineral spirits. Yeah, cleaned up pretty well. Kind of excited. R2's kind of to me, kind of one of the true heroes of Star Wars. Many times, those guys they'd have been toast if it wasn't for R2, so. Been looking forward to getting him done for a while. Alright, so after about 20 more minutes of doing that, we're all done. These are definitely fun builds. I would highly recommend doing any Bandai kit. They're great if you just want something real quick that has very nice detail. Fits together great. I did finish up the Firebird, so hopefully that video will be out later this week. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and we'll catch you in the next video.